Hello and welcome. I am Farming for Fun, and we're going to continue this tutorial. Episode 3, and we have our buildings in place here. We're going to edit the XMLs to make sure the game understands that we own this, and that this is a selling station. So to start off, we'll minimize this, and then we will go into our mods folder of tutorials, and we will actually go up a group into default items. Now we will want to edit this with Notepad. Now in this mod pack, it starts with only this item here. So we are going to make sure we have /items for the end, and now we can add some default items. So I've already opened up the US map items, which can be found in this location. I will show you here. Go to your local disk or wherever your game is currently installed. Common, and then Farm Sim, Data, and we go into the maps. So we'll go Map US, and we'll find the items and open it up. And that'll bring you into the items that are placed in this map. So here we have a farmhouse, named this one farmhouse, farm silo large, and selling station generic. So let's find those three lines in here. So we have selling station restaurant, we have the ranch, and the grain silo, port and bales. So let's start with the restaurant. Let's grab this, Control C to copy, and let's place that in here. I always do an extra tab just so you can see this dotted line showing that these are corresponding with this. So now we have, actually let's just add in everything so we're not getting confused. So if we go down the list here we have a silo placeable, and it's the large silo. So this one we will copy and paste. I'll do one more tab, and then let's get the house. Where's that? Easy shed farmhouse. So we'll need this line of code, and we'll throw that over here. So now we have our three items. We have our house, silo, and our selling station. So let's start by the selling station. So it is going to be the restaurant, it's selling station placeable, and this is where the XML is located. Everything there is good. We just need to tell the game that our selling station is in these coordinates. So we will copy these over. This first grouping of numbers is X. Second grouping is Y. And third grouping is Z. And this is rotation of 0, 0, 0, so let's change that as well. That's these three here. Now the game should recognize the selling point as the restaurant selling point, and all the numbers will be according. So now we have silo placeable, we have the large, which is what we have here, silo large. If you manage to put the silo small, you'll have to change that as well in the XML. So now let's replace these numbers over here. And we have rotation of zeros, so these are fine. Now the farmhouse, we will have to click on this and get these coordinates as well. And the rotation is all zeros, so this is fine. Now the one thing the game recognizes as default farm property. So when you start a new farm and you load up your save game, you can choose between the three options of your farm start, your farm manager, and then the other option. So if you do the regular farm start, you will need to add in these values. Default farm property equals true. So when you load in the farm start, you will start off with this house is owned and this is owned because these are both default property. Now if you went into farm manager, these would no longer be in your garage. So they will be deleted and you will start with nothing. So you will need this in there if you want it, or you turn this either to false or just delete it and it will show up. And it'll stay in the map indefinitely, either way. Same goes for tractors and other stuff, but we'll get into that later. So let's save this for now. Now that the game can recognize these are in the game, we can delete them. So now when we start the game up, those will appear on their own. So we have our first field set up. Might as well save this. Perfect. But now, we won't be able to farm here until we tell the game that we have an area we would like to purchase. So this is where the terrain info layer painting tool comes into play. Now the whole map is going to be darked out, meaning that there is no purchasable farmland. So we'll go into the info layer painting tool here, and we'll turn into farmland. Now each of these channels will change accordingly. So info channel 1 is 0 clicked. If we want farmland 2, we'll have to have 1 clicked. If you want farmland 3, you have to have 0 and 1 clicked. If you want farmland 4, we go into 2, 5, and then I think it's these two make 6. So you'll have to kind of vary with different numbers, but the total, I think, all of these is 63. So you can have 63 total farms. But for now, let's just start with farm property 1. So now everything is whited out. We'll want to actually delete everything. So let's change our terrain tool to, let's say, 1000. And then that way we can change the whole area to layer 0. Well, at least we will turn it into not a property to buy. There we go. And we'll come back down to our farm. Go back into this. We'll come back to, let's say, 30. Okay, so now we will just paint this area. This will be our purchasable land. And it'll be, you got to keep in mind that this is layer value 1. So let's save. And we'll minimize. So now this is where our next XML comes into play. So we will go into our documents, tutorial, and this is where we need to go into maps and click into the farmlands. So we'll go edit. Now this mod map has already got our first one placed. So this is farmlands. This is where the farmland generation is. Number of channels, just leave that. And price per hectare. So if you want your areas to be a little bit cheaper than normal, you could put this as, like, say 20,000 per hectare, and it'll make your properties less. So the NPC name can be changed to this. It'll just recognize if you don't own this farmland, the NPC will use it for missions. But because it's set as default property, it means that if you start in the farm start, you will have this property owned. So you can change that to false or delete this if you do not want it. But for this sake, we'll keep it the same way. Farmland ID is 1, which is that layer of 1 down here. layer value 1. If we wanted another field, we would have to layer field farmland 2, which I will show you in this purpose. So now this changes into one color, and we'll have another farm, let's say over here, which will be farmland 2. So now they'll change. The white will be the farmland that you have highlighted, and it'll change back to this one for farmland 2. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. So let's go back into our XML here, and all we need to copy is this one. We will change this down, add another line, and we'll change this to farmland 2. Now you can keep everything the same. If you do not want this, of course, to start with, we will delete this. Perfect. So now we have an owned piece of land and a regular piece of land that we can purchase. So let's save that, and that should work just fine. Perfect. So now we have two purchasable pieces of land. We should have our farmhouse and our silo pop in, as well as our sellable. So let's save this, and let's see if we can load it up in game. Now, if this does not appear in your game as a map, you may have to restart your computer. I found that sometimes the game doesn't recognize that you put that new folder into the mods. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So this is where I was talking about new farmer or farm manager. So new farmer, you should start with that piece of property, the house, as well as the silo bin. If you start in farm manager, however, you will not start with the field, the house, or the silo bin. So let's just test out, make sure that this is proper, and see the world did not load. So I would definitely have to restart the game or my computer for it to recognize. But in that sense, we will leave that for next episode. I'll restart my computer and it should show up. Hopefully this all makes a lot of sense. If it doesn't, leave a comment down below and I will hopefully make another video for you to understand a little bit in depth. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please come back for next episode if you are interested in learning a little bit more about this mod creation. Map, I guess. Map creation. Alright guys, talk to you in the next episode. Bye for now.